Good evening and welcome to the August 4th, 2025 meeting of the City of Summit Zoning Board of Adjustment. My name is Miriam Zahn and I'm the Vice Chair of the Zoning Board. Please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. In accordance with New Jersey Statute 10:4-10, adequate notice of this special meeting has been provided to a newspaper of record and has been posted here in City Hall. This meeting is a judicial proceeding. Any questions or comments must be limited to the issues that are relevant to what the board may legally consider in reaching a decision, and decorum appropriate to a judicial hearing must be maintained at all times. For the benefit of the interested public, this meeting is being live streamed to the city's YouTube page and also broadcast on Summit's government channel, which is Comcast 34 and Verizon Channel 30. A transcript of this meeting is also being taken using the video and audio, so we need all speakers to use one of the microphones in the room. Please note that fire exits are to my right, your left, and at the back of the room where you entered. The city has a listening system to assist the hearing impaired. If anyone needs hearing assistance, please obtain the system at the dais and return it thereafter. Ms. Sands, please call the roll of the members.
Vice Chair Zahn?
Here.
Mr. Yuko?
Here.
Mr. Malay?
Here.
Mr. Nelson?
Here.
Mr. Curran?
Here.
Ms. Chifo is excused. Mr. Feskins is expected but not yet present. Mr. Chanchuli?
Here.
Mr. Nearing?
Here.
And Chairman Loikitz is excused. You have a quorum. You may proceed.
Thank you. Andy Ball is the zoning board's attorney. Mr. Ball advises board members on matters of law and is the key interface with an applicant's attorney. Mr. Ball does not vote on the applications. Jessica Sands is a city employee and is our zoning board secretary. Our board secretary works with applicants on preparing their applications, planning our agendas, and keeping our meeting minutes. The board secretary also does not vote on the applications. Also present are our experts who are hired annually by the board to provide input. Tonight we have Marie Raffay from Collier Engineering, and also present is Ed Snikes from Burgess Associates, our board planner. These experts are seated at the table to the right of the board, the public's left. They do not vote on the applications. Our board consists of 7 regular members and up to 4 alternates. All members can participate in the hearings tonight, but a maximum of 7 can vote. Most applications require a simple majority to be approved. Before we enter executive session to vote on the application, you will be advised how many votes are required. Each case will begin with the applicants or their attorney giving an overview of the application process to date and the variances that are required. We then hear from any additional expert witnesses the applicant may have to help explain the application and why the variances are needed. The board experts, followed by board members, may ask questions of the applicant, their attorney, and expert witnesses. Due to recent cases running excessively long, we strongly encourage applicants and their experts to give brief and concise testimony so that we get to as many cases as possible in a given evening. Once the board members and the board professionals have completed their questioning, the public will have an opportunity to ask questions. This is not the time to tell us what you think about this case. That opportunity comes at the end of the hearing. Please be careful as to how you phrase your questions. They should not be preceded with a statement about the case, but should be a direct question to the witness. Also, before you ask your questions, please clearly state your name, spell your last name, and provide your address. It is important that our court reporter be able to keep clear and accurate public record. After all witnesses have been heard, members of the audience will have their second opportunity to speak, and at that time you may express your opinion, positive or negative, about the application. Then the public hearing is closed and we enter into executive session where the board members discuss the case and vote. You will be able to listen to our executive session, but you will not normally be able to participate in our discussion. I ask that each applicant and or their attorney, if present, come up and give a brief synopsis of their anticipated testimony tonight, including the number of witnesses and whether or not they can finish the presentation within 30 minutes. And I guess before we do that, we just want to make note that we are not hearing the case for 80 Elm. That one has been moved to October 6th. So can we first hear from 475 Springfield?
Hi, good evening. Hillary Alls from Dempsey & Sheehan, representing the applicant 475 Springfield LLC. We have 4 witnesses tonight, and I would say it's probably going to be about 45 minutes. But we will wait for Mr. Feskins, so that way we can have 7 members hearing us. So if the other application wants to go first, if he's not here, that's fine.
Okay. And so then we have 25 Essex Road. Yeah. I guess we will start with 25 Essex. We don't, assuming, how long do you think your application is going to be?
I'm Jack Kelly. I'm their architect.
Yep.
I'm here with Mr. and Mrs. O'Rourke, and I'm the only witness.
Okay.
So I would say 20 to 25 minutes.
Great. Okay. Thank you.
Could use a chair. I'll stand. Sit.
And I will swear the applicant in. If you could each raise your right hand. Do you swear from the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
And one at a time, please state your name, spell your last name.
Celia O'Rourke, O-R-O-U-R-K-E.
James O'Rourke, O-R-O-U-R-K-E.
Thank you.
You want to swear me in or later?
We'll do that once we get to you. So if you want to get started and give us an overview of the application.
Okay. My husband and I, along with our 3 kids, we have an 8th grader and twins that are in 6th grade, all actually going to be at the Summit Middle School in September. We are looking to make some improvements to our house. First, we'd like to improve our kitchen, just really integrate it better into the flow of our house. Currently, we have no mudroom, so our kitchen family eating area kind of also serves as our mudroom, which is challenging at times with the soccer, hockey, lacrosse, sports equipment. So we're looking to make those improvements to our house. We're also looking to, currently our driveway runs from the front to the back of our property and curves around across our entire backyard to our detached garage, which is up against our 2 neighbors' fences in the back corner. We would like to remove remove that asphalt and reclaim a lot of that for our backyard area. Currently, the way the driveway is, our garage is unusable because backing down the driveway is so difficult, so we always park our cars in the driveway. We also see it as a safety issue when we back out of we're kind of we're on Essex, right at the corner of Whitridge, and when we back out of our driveway, we're very close to the corner where there is a 4-way stop sign. Unfortunately, not everybody always feels the need to stop. So we've run into, kind of a safety issue there at times because we're so close to that corner. So in the plans, we would move, our driveway would be moved further away from that corner. And that's, I think, the gist of the improvements that we're looking to make. And we'd be removing the detached garage, which is up in the corner.
Any questions for the applicants?
Yeah, just one, and you can leave it for your architect if you want. I mean, but it really has nothing to do with the design of the house. Did you read the forester's comments?
Yes, Mr. Linton?
Yeah.
I had actually been in touch with him separate, aside from this, because we had an issue with a tree on our property. So I had met with 2 tree companies And while they were looking at that, we kind of had them walk the property. And both of them flagged the 2 large beech trees that are in between our house and the house next door, one of which is beyond saving, and the second one is not in good shape also. So their recommendations were that we had to remove both trees. I reached out to Mr. Linson to get his opinion on the whole thing. And he said because he came by and we had an email conversation, and because of the one tree is not able to be saved, and because the way these trees have grown, they're 2 very large trees, and because they've been growing alongside each other for so long, they basically have to be considered as one tree, and we actually have to remove both of them, unfortunately.
And,
Aside from any of this project.
and he also has a suggestion for some replacement landscaping along the property line with Lot 18.
Yes.
So I think we might want to get a plan for that as a condition, if that's,
Yes, we definitely plan. We planted, there's currently screening there now that we planted because we wanted the privacy from our neighbors. So we will definitely be working on that.
All right, and would we want to see a full, a landscaping plan be submitted, Mr. Yuko?
well, I
Is that
don't know
your
if
thought?
plan is necessary, but some general description, or, because Mr. Swanson's definitely looking for something, so something would be acceptable to him.
Okay. And is that acceptable as a condition of the application, getting in touch and seeking approval of the city forester for
Absolutely.
replacement screening?
Yeah, I'll continue the conversation that we're already having now.
Are there any members of the public here for this application? So no questions from the public then. So then, if there are no more questions from the board, we can move on to the architect. Mr. Kelly?
Do you swear from the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
And please state your name, spell your last name.
Jack Kelly, Kelly.
And I know you've appeared before us a number of times, including recently. Any changes to your credentials since the last time you were here? Any questions from the board? I imagine they will accept you back once again.
Thank you. Thanks for hearing our case. Just to put a pin in that landscape plan, there's a patio in the backyard, so we're gonna develop, I'm not, but someone's gonna develop a landscape plan for the property, including the screening with their neighbor, and the garage is coming down in the back, so we'll have to do something there, and there's gonna be a patio, so there'll be a landscape plan, and we'll file that with Ms. Jones. Okay, so we are, the O'Rourke's, as you know, we're on 25 Essex Road. Their house is located in the R25 zone, and their lot area is 20,074. So they are about 5,000 square feet shy of the standard for R25, which causes one of the variances. The project consists of an addition mostly in the rear and on the right side of the house for an enlarged kitchen, a new mudroom, and a new 2-car garage, attached garage. As Celia said, we want to remove the existing non-conforming detached garage that's in the back. It is too close to their neighbor, so it's non-conforming in 2 ways. It's too close to their neighbor, it's only 3 feet from the neighbor's property line, and it's too small, it's too narrow. You would be hard pressed to get 2 cars in there and get out of your car. So, as she said, they don't use the garage at all. It would involve driving across their backyard, if you look at the site plan, which is right here. For some reason, the driveway's on the left and the garage is on the right, which makes no sense. So they're driving across their, well, they don't, but you could drive across their rear yard to get to this garage. And then you have to back out all the way across the yard and down and out onto the street. So we want to solve that problem by attaching the garage to the house, number 1, moving the driveway to the right side of the property, and we're going to create a backup space so that they can make a K-turn and they can drive out forward. Also, it's so much more convenient to have an attached garage, so you can come in the house. As she mentioned, also we're in the mudroom, so the sequence works from garage to mudroom, kitchen, to the rest of the house. And then, as I said, there's a patio in the backyard, which is conforming. So we're here for two variances. The first one is side yard combined, where you add the left side yard and the right side yard together, and you divide it by the lot width. If you look at the site plan on B1, you'll see that the shape of the lot is almost a trapezoid. Both property lines, the left and the right, both taper in from the front to the back. When you calculate lot width in Summit, you measure it at the front yard, the line of the front yard setback, not the street, but the line of the front yard setback. And that distance is 138 feet. So the rule is you take 40% of the 138, that gives you 55.5 feet total side yard, so the left and the right should add up to 55.5. We're a little bit shy of that. We're providing 49.5, so we have 24 feet on the left and 25.5 feet on the right. The minimum setback in this zone is 17 feet, so we're well above that. But due to the shape of the property, the combined side yard math doesn't work. The original house complies, but where we are adding in the rear, the lot is just, it's much narrower. In reality, I have a drawing I want to show you in a second. The area that's, I'm searching here. You don't have this drawing, but I'll leave it for Jessica.
So we will mark that as A1.
Sorry, Jim.
No,
Sure,
yeah,
he'll-
please, don't worry about it.
Just so you can see. So we highlighted the area that is causing the variance in blue. So it's kind of this triangular wedge, I would say, of the garage that is exceeding the side yard combined. This is only 107 square feet of the house. So that is only 4% of the house. 96% of the house complies. So it's this sliver of space. You can see that? So it's I think fairly insignificant, and again, it's a C1 variance where the shape of the lot is causing variance. I think the pluses outweigh the minuses there of attaching the garage, tearing down a non-conforming structure, taking the driveway out of the rear yard, putting the driveway on the other side of the house, and allowing them to drive forward when we leave the property. Our second variance is for building coverage. In this zone, the maximum allowed is 14%. And we are at 14.5%, so half a percent over, which amounts to 101 square feet. I think 100 square feet on a 20,000 square foot lot is fairly insignificant. And again, there's so many positive aspects to this proposal that the 100 square feet, I think, could easily be permitted. The new garage, we have sized appropriately so that they can put 2 cars in it and have some storage for bikes and kids' sports equipment and whatnot. So the new garage is about 100 square feet than the one we are, the detached one we are tearing down. It's a big improvement for them as well, and not only just taking the building away from their neighbor, but giving them a nicer backyard without a driveway in the middle of it, gives them an opportunity to have a nice outdoor living space. As Mrs. O'Rourke mentioned, they don't even use the garage because it's just completely impractical. So I have some positive criteria and sort of summary. The proposed additions and roof lines will blend perfectly with this house. It's a beautiful Tudor house. It's over 100 years old. And I think we've done a tasteful job to integrate the new work into the context of the house. Number 2, we're providing a stormwater management system for all of the new roof areas, the new kitchen, the new garage and mudroom. Plus, the engineer designed it so that it will take the water from the rear half of the original house. So all the water from the middle of the house, from the bridge of the house, down in the rear, will be taken into the stormwater management system. As I mentioned, number 3, we're removing a non-conforming structure, and we're removing the driveway, which cuts across the backyard. Number 4, the new garage is sized appropriately for 2 cars, whereas the current one is not. Number 5, we are improving safety, as Jim, or you said, Celia said, by moving the driveway away from the intersection of Essex and Whitridge. As I said, also, an attached garage is preferable. If it's raining or snowing, you can just pull your car in the garage and go in the house. And in summary, I think these are major improvements for not only the owners, but their neighbors, and with 2 minor variances. That's it.
Any questions from our board experts?
So I just have a few clarifications. Do you know where the stormwater from your roof leaders is going to right now? It's okay.
No.
I know there was a comment from.
I think it goes out well, we have like some pumps going out to the driveway.
No, but, yeah, I think it goes down a pipe, and there's 2, from the
Oh,
house,
into
there's
the
2
street?
pipes that go to the street.
I believe they're underground. The house is old enough where the drainage pipes would be underground.
Okay. So they're reducing their impervious coverage, but they're still putting in a seepage pit. And it looks like they're taking more than half of the proposed house coverage that's going into that seepage pit.
That's correct.
So, you know, I looked over the calculations, they look like they're adequate. The whole house is not going into the seepage pit, but it is an improvement over what was there before, and, you know, it looks like it doesn't look like they're changing too many of the drainage patterns that are on site either. It looks like things were going down to the street are still going down to the street. I don't see any problems with the drainage on the property.
Just some quick questions. You had offered the proofs based upon the hardship or the overall shape of the property? Yes, you were basing it on? Okay, because of,
For the 1 variance, yeah.
okay, because the shape of the property itself is a trapezoid, as you mentioned, and it tapers towards the back. Therefore, you're measuring your lot width in the widest component of that lot, and that caused the additional combined yard setback requirement. Is there any flexibility in the architecture why do you need that additional small sliver of space? Is it something where the efficiency of the kitchens and things of that nature, it just becomes much more efficient in the arrangement of the building?
I think so. We are actually eliminating a room. If you look at the existing conditions plan, we are eliminating the formal dining room. You can also see from that drawing, so we're eliminating the formal dining room and making it a kitchen. You'll see that the sunroom, which is on the right, is kind of its own element architecturally. It's paneled. It has the 2 stories. That little piece on the right is all paneled and it has lots of windows. So it's like a different element of the house. So we kept the kitchen. We kept the mudroom and the garage tucked in that corner. I'm pointing at the drawing you're looking at. So we tucked the mudroom in that corner, a little L shape there, and then the garage is behind that. So architecturally, it fits in very nicely.
Okay. And you place the garage towards the back of the building as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Again, to improve the flow, if you get out of your car, where you want to go next, you're going to go to the mudroom and then you're going to go to the kitchen.
And effectively, the movement of the cars allows for a turnaround movement in the driveway compared to what they have today?
Yes, 1,000% better.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
With regard to, just for the hardship and the offsetting of the negative impacts, the applicant has agreed to offer some landscaping, I guess, along the, I was going to say the right-hand side. I need a north arrow.
That's correct.
I guess that's the southwest side, and they'll be putting something on that side.
Yes, because the screening that's there will be coming out, and the screening is important for the old works as well. So they're going to either we do some sort of screening or a fence or something there.
just in order to screen the parking in the garage area.
Yes, because it's driveway to driveway,
Right,
and so, again, it's important for them and their neighbor.
okay. That's all the questions I have. Thank you.
Questions from the board?
I have a couple. How far is the driveway, the proposed driveway from the property line? Is that, okay, and, because when I was over there today, it was kind of hard to picture that. So you're gonna be able to safely put screening in 2 feet, maintain it, and all that other kind of stuff that goes
Well,
along
it may
with
be a
it?
fence, I don't know.
I think it might be a fence.
It may be a fence, or we're gonna have to fence something that's gonna grow tall and not spread.
Yeah, yeah. And can the garage be reduced to 22 by 20, 20 feet deep, as opposed to 22 feet deep? Because the average garage is what, 20 by 20?
Well, the standard in Summit now is 20 feet in width.
Mhm.
That's why their current garage is 19 feet in width.
Because you say that that blue area is 100 square feet, roughly 110
Yeah,
square
but I
feet?
mean, I can't take 100 square feet out of the garage.
Well, no, but
They're
if
not
you,
the
if
same
you did
garage.
40, it's less of a headache. You know, 2 feet by 22 is, 80-something, 84, 94.
Yeah, I guess if the board felt very strongly about it.
I'm just curious.
I think it's insignificant in terms of what I said, that 96% of the house complies. And
If it's insignificant, then could you do it?
it's insignificant numerically. Could you do it?
Because then I would move the driveway further away, or you could maybe keep the driveway where it is, but, or make it farther away from the property line, so that your neighbor, so the neighbor's not, so impinged upon.
Well, again, we were trying to give them some storage space for, they have 3 kids, they have bikes,
Mhm.
they have, what you have in a garage. I guess that would be really up to them.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have questions? Or?
Not really a question, but I'm,
Can I just say one thing?
Yeah,
sure.
It's not an overly grand garage, it's a pretty standard garage.
and that's really the point I wanted to make. I mean, it's not that large a garage, and I think the point that the applicant's trying to make is that 100 square feet in the context of 20,000 square foot lot is a small difference. Whereas to take 40 square feet out of the garage, it'd be big change for the garage.
Correct.
But it's not, in the context of 20,000 square foot lot, it's not 100 feet is not a big variance at
Also,
all.
one other thing, this garage is 100 feet from the street. I mean, it's not invisible, I know people will see it when they drive by, but it's totally behind the main body of the original house. It's over 100 feet to the front corner of that garage.
And also the 2-foot setback for the garage, that's permitted. That's not,
For the driveway?
for the driveway, I'm sorry,
2
the
foot
driveway.
is the minimum.
Yep.
Mr. Nearing?
A couple questions and comments. Mr. Linson had a lot to say about the landscaping. And I think, did we just agree that we're going to need either a drawn or written landscaping plan that's going to satisfy
Yes,
Mr.?
we agree with
Yes.
that.
Okay.
Anyone else? I have 2 questions. What is the width of the lot at the back of the property? At the street, you said it was 138 feet?
No, that's, 138 feet is where you measure the lot
Right,
width, which is
right.
the front yard setback.
Okay. And what's the width of the back of the property?
I'm going to give you the front and the back.
Looks like 100
It's 100 in the back.
And so, just curious, if your whole lot, and it's not, what the setback requirement for, it would still be, it's 49.5 feet, right? For regardless of the lot width. That's about, is that right?
No.
So what would be the setback, the combined side yard, sorry, not the
So
setback?
if the lot was 100 feet wide,
Yeah, I mean, this is based on, I'm just curious because it's further back, and I'm just wondering if there's any room here for some interpretation in terms of where you're actually falling with the combined side yard here. because you have 49.5 feet, but what is the property width in that location? I'm just curious, because it kind of feels like maybe, you know, maybe there's more side yard than it appears, like, to your point about talking about
You
it.
mean, are you saying if I could measure the width of the lot there?
Yeah, I'm just curious, what would be, what would be your combined side yard? It says the minimum is 49.5. What would it be, sort of the average length of the lot if it was a rectangle? And I guess while you're measuring that, my second question is, given that you're 2 feet off the driveway, I'm just wondering why the screening wasn't part of the plan. I'm not super comfortable with, we're probably gonna put up a fence. I don't think there's any option besides a fence here, because you only have 2 feet. And I don't think a fence is bad screening, but I feel like this plan is missing an important component, which I know you want to address sort of after the fact, but usually that's part of it, and I think that's, that is important for the neighbors, and I feel like that should have been part of the plan. So if you want to, I just don't think we're going to see any plantings here in 2 feet, so.
At a minimum, we would have a fence. It would be our goal to have some sort of green. I know it's very small, but you drive around like some of these beach towns that have these tiny little lots, and people like manage to get some green trees. We've worked with Landscapes by Sharon. I don't know if you.
We, for the screening that's there, we put in almost all of it. All the arborvitaes, and I worked with the landscaper to figure out what fit there. We also looked at other stuff for the back fence, and I looked at different variants of evergreens that would fit in smaller spaces. So already had some ideas, came up with this specific tree for that, and that's what we put in that wall of trees that goes up to that point and then hits the big
Because we
trees.
want the screening.
Yeah, we want the screening, and I think we're pretty, I think we'd be in sync with our neighbors, but I think that's our plan. And again, at a minimum, it's the fence, but we worked pretty carefully with a landscaper to put the existing screening in. We put it in, not our neighbor. So, I
And
mean,
like I said, I have been in touch with Mr. Linson regarding the trees as a separate, and I will be happy to continue that conversation with him and make sure that what we're doing is good with him.
There's something known as a living fence also. It's a fence with it.
Ivy.
Yes, some kind of ivy or some sort of plant that grows up the fence, which is green on both sides.
So between the retaining wall and the property line, that's 2 feet?
Yes.
Did you contact your neighbors, and are they aware of your plans?
We send it to our neighbors, yes. We have a nice relationship with our neighbors. We've lived there for 10 years. And don't live in a way that we want to make enemies with anybody next to us or in our neighborhood.
and we didn't have any negative feedback at all from anyone, and some real positive with taking down the garage and feedback.
To answer your question,
Sure, thanks.
if we take the lot width at the rear of the house, the new rear of the garage, where we're building the structure, it's 111 feet. If you take 40% of that, it's 44 feet. So yes, we're providing 49 and a half, if I could measure it there.
Right, right.
So, but you have to measure it in the front.
But isn't there,
Understand.
no matter what the width is there a minimum you have to meet? Even if your yard's 500 feet wide, if it's 50 feet wide?
It's still 40%.
Because it's an R25 zone, isn't there a minimum you have to meet?
Well, you would have to have
Combined
the
is-
setbacks.
Combined is still
40%,
40%.
yeah.
40%? Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions? And just confirming, we don't have any public here, so no questions from the public? Okay. Are there any closing, any other information before we go into executive session that you'd like to share?
Like I said, we've lived in our house for 10 years. We love our neighborhood, we love our house, despite the challenges of living in an old house. We love a lot of things about an old house. We're trying to just make some improvements that will kind of improve the flow and the way that we live. As Jack said, still keeping the architecture, going with the whole look of the house, the period of the house, and paying attention that we're doing it in a graceful way, maybe. And like I said, we are not interested in making anybody around us upset or mad. We want the screening as much as our neighbors do. We want privacy as much as our neighbors do. We'd like to just kind of bring our house a little bit more modern. It's kind of still, the people before us made some improvements, but it really still has the layout of a house from 100 years ago. So.
Thank you. And I guess we'll go into executive session right now. Does anyone want to start?
Do you want to review the conditions? Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
I'll just
How many
mention,
votes? Yeah.
we have C variances, so 4 votes are required to approve the application, and we have 2 conditions. One is our usual compliance with the conditions noted in the board engineer's memorandum, and the second is that the applicant shall submit a landscaping plan which shall specifically address screening along the southwest side, and that is correct, right? Southwest side was the one that we were looking at?
Yes.
Okay. That shall be submitted to the city forester for review and approval.
Okay.
All right?
Anyone want to start?
I'll start.
Okay.
Overall, I think it's a thoughtful plan. Putting aside absence of the landscaping plan as part of the package, which would have been very helpful, I think. And taking a bit of a leap of faith on what that fencing would look, but absent, your neighbors not being here to oppose it. I can be supportive. I think you have a pre-existing or undersized lot, and I think you're going to end up with much better flow and improved safety for the lot. So I can support it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm glad you agreed to the condition of the landscaping plan, and I'd also wish we could know more details about the fence, but I'm sure you'll do something nice. The design you're proposing, as has been noted, maintains the nature and character of the existing style of the home. The Historic Preservation Commission approved the design. There's a hardship created somewhat by the shape and the size of the lot. It's small for the zone, and the shape makes it kind of makes it kind of function as an even smaller lot because of the shape. I'm happy you're addressing stormwater management more than you need to. That's a good thing in Summit. We get a lot of people who just barely do enough, and we're never sure if it's going to make it worse, even though it sounds like it won't, but you're doing more than you need to. Getting rid of the non-conforming detached garage is a major positive, and also the safety issue of locating the driveway is a major positive, so I can support it as well.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I can support this also. I think it's well designed. There is a hardship with the size of the lot. And again, like Tom said, removing the non-conforming garage is a good thing. And they've done a good job on the stormwater management. And I mean, it's a little tight on with the garage side, but I mean, 22, I don't think is, my garage is 24, and I have a Tahoe, and it just about fits, so I think 22 is, it's good design, so I can support it.
I can support it. I think, I agree with everything that Mr. Yuko said. Especially like the idea of moving that driveway away from the corner. It's a real safety issue, and I think that's positive. So I can certainly support this application.
Okay. Well, I would share my opinion, but I think we probably have heard enough to take a vote here.
I'll move to approve.
Anyone want a second?
Second.
Okay.
Second.
Vice Chair Zahn,
Yes.
Mr. Yuko,
Yes.
Mr. Malay,
Yes.
Mr. Nelson,
Yes.
Mr. Kieran,
Yes.
Mr. Chanchuli,
Yes.
Mr. Neering,
Yes.
Motion carries?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Good luck.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I do not, and I did not know that Tom was accusing himself, so. But, I mean, I don't. Yeah, we can take a moment. Can we just take a couple-minute break to try to reach one of our board members? Thank you. All right, we will reconvene here with 475 Springfield Avenue.
And before we get started, I'll just note, obviously, we're down to 6 members. We were expecting 7, so we will proceed, go through any testimony. And if it does get to the point where we're able to vote this evening, it'll be the applicant's decision on whether they want to vote or whether they would like to carry it until the next meeting when we'll have a full board for that vote.
Perfect, thank you.
Sure.
Okay, good evening. Hillary Alls from Dempsey Sheehan, representing the applicant 475 Springfield LLC and the prospective tenant Protected Tomorrows regarding property located at 475 Springfield Avenue, Block 1911, Lot 3 in the CRBD zone. As you will hear in greater detail during the presentation, Protected Tomorrows is a specialized educational and advisory organization that assists individuals with special needs, their families, and caregivers. Protected Tomorrows is seeking a use variance to operate on the first floor of the existing building at 475 Springfield Avenue. The proposed use is a compelling use that is multifaceted with aspects of the many permitted uses in the CRBD, such as personal service, instructional, financial, and retail sales and services. It is also a use that can be universally considered of value to the community because it fundamentally serves the public good and promotes the general welfare. The presentation tonight will begin with Mark Yeager, the developer and owner of the property, followed by Aaron McCann, a representative of Simplicity Group, Mary Ann Ellert, founder of Protected Tomorrows, and concluding with the planner, Paul Greigel. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them, or I can call the first witness.
Any questions? No? No?
Okay, Mark Yeager.
And if you could raise your right hand, do you swear from the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
And please state your name, spell your last name.
Mark Yeager, Y-E-A-G-E-R.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And what is your relationship to the property at 475 Springfield Avenue?
I am the owner and developer of the building.
Did you, as the owner, file the application that is currently before the board on behalf of the prospective tenant, Simplicity Protected Tomorrows?
Yes, I did.
And can you give the board a brief background of the property and how this application came to be before the board?
Certainly. I had the pleasure to be in front of this board about 2 years ago, seeking the original site plan application for the 475 Springfield Avenue office redevelopment. That work has been completed. I was fortunate throughout the process of having gone through the planning and the entitlements and then eventually the construction of meeting the folks from Simplicity Group, which was a Summit-based financial services company. And they relocated within Summit to the 475 Springfield Avenue building and occupied this past March and April all of what we refer to as the office space at 475 Springfield, which is all of the permitted use space as we've been discussing. Simplicity approached me a few months ago to ask whether or not we would work with them in considering having this Protected Tomorrows affiliated group occupy the remainder of the building, which is the space that's the subject of this application tonight. I thought it was a very compelling use. I thought, in my interpretation and my understanding of the use, that it would be permitted under the current zoning definitions for permitted use in the CRBD. I approached the zoning officer to have a conversation about it, and it was his interpretation that it was not permitted as per the definition of retail sales in the CRBD. He didn't really comment on any of the other types of areas of use of this proposed tenant, as Hillary pointed out, whether it be institutional, education, all types of other services that they provide families with special needs, children. So his suggestion was, given that he in that initial discussion and a subsequent discussion and meeting that we had with Simplicity Group representatives themselves, that we bring the matter forward to the Board of Adjustment. That's what brings us here this evening.
Excellent. And are there any changes to the building contemplated as a result of this use?
No.
Okay. I don't have any other questions.
Questions from our experts?
No, I have nothing.
Just a quick question. You had mentioned that you felt it might be a permitted use. From what standpoint did you feel that there was a permitted use?
When I read through all of the different criteria that met the permitted use standard in the CRBD zone, I thought there were several elements of it that were consistent with what my understanding was the Protected Tomorrow's business platform was, whether it be education, whether it be sales and some retail elements, some element of financial services, et cetera, that when you look at all the different standards, I thought there were elements of the business plan and the business program that met, could be defined certainly as meeting some of those, when the zoning officer, respectfully disagreed.
Just regarding the overall outline of your testimony that's going to be offered through the various experts, are you going to be defining that a little bit more as far as what their overall scope of services
Yes.
are to
Yes.
the board? Okay, thank you.
Yep. And then our planner will go through each of those again.
Okay, thank you. No further questions.
Sure.
Any questions from the board? No. Is there any public here regarding this? So no questions from the public, okay, so we can.
Okay.
I do have
next-
one question.
Oh, sure.
Is the building fully occupied, and this is the only space that's unoccupied right now?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
The next witness is Aaron McCann.
You can raise your right hand.
Good evening.
Do you swear from the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
And please state your name, spell your last name.
Yeah, Aaron McCann, McCann.
Thank you.
What is your occupation, title, and by whom are you employed?
So I'm employed by the Simplicity Group. I'm a partner, I'm an executive member, I'm a board member of the Simplicity Group, and I manage the wealth division.
And what is Simplicity's relationship to the property?
So currently, we're a tenant of the property utilizing the office space as described by Mark.
And are you authorized to speak on behalf of Simplicity?
Yes.
And then can you just tell the board the connection between Simplicity and Protected Tomorrows and why the proposed use was one Simplicity wanted to be associated with?
Sure. So first, as Mark mentioned, Simplicity is a financial distribution business. We support independent insurance agents and independent financial advisors across the country. We acquired Protected Tomorrows in 2024, and we're deeply committed to supporting its mission, both its continued success and its future growth. The more I've learned about Protected Tomorrows and the work that they do, the more excited I am to present the opportunity for the town that I reside in. I've lived here since 2003. I would tell you that Protected Tomorrows offers vital education and planning services to families and caregivers with individuals that have special needs. It's a dramatically underserved market. We are building out the team as aggressively as we can to meet that demand. And we're looking to serve folks not only in New Jersey, but across the country. I think bringing Protected Tomorrows to Summit, will help us address, some of the critical need. But I expect that it will become like a tremendous asset for our community. We provide invaluable support and resources to families who desperately need like specialized guidance. Establishing the site in Summit will make our town, more vibrant, more inclusive, and really supportive place for people to live and to visit. So I'm super excited. I can't wait for you to meet Marianne. It's as compelling of an opportunity as I've seen in 30 years on financial services. So very excited about it.
I don't have any more questions.
Questions from our experts?
I have no questions.
Just, you had mentioned that you provide support for, and if I'm misstating this, please correct me,
Mhm.
support for financial insurance groups, or you actually provide those types of services or advice to your actual clients?
So the majority of our business is a wholesale business where we are we have affiliated agents and advisors that leverage our services to do their job. In the case of Marianne, it's a unique and differentiated offering because they are a retail organization. They're supporting community members themselves. Marianne will describe some of the data around the area and the need for this. But there's an opportunity to work with nonprofit organizations as well as corporate benefit programs. So it's wide. The opportunity set is large.
No further questions.
Any questions from the board?
So what percentage of that 475 do you occupy now?
100%. Yeah.
And why do you feel you need this floor space? Just because of proximity to the rest of your business, or you need a?
No, Marianne will describe it in greater detail, but first floor access is incredibly important given the nature of the people we're serving.
I just have a question about, so Simplicity Group is the parent company
Yes.
of
Protected
Tomorrows.
Correct.
And so basically, essentially, you're here because you want to sublease almost, this to Protected Tomorrows, as opposed to just having Protected Tomorrows come in and they have,
Well, they're also here. She's our
Right.
next. So,
Right.
Simplicity is here to explain why, how they got involved with Protected Tomorrows and why they're bringing them into Summit. And then she'll explain why this is the right location for this type of use.
okay, thank you.
And just a reminder to all our board members, to everyone, please speak directly into the microphone. We've had the request for that reminder this evening.
Okay, so the next witness is Mary Ann Ellert.
If you could raise your right hand, do you swear from the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your name, spell your last name.
Mary Ann Ellert, E-H-L-E-R-T.
Thank you.
Okay, and what is your occupation title and by whom are you employed?
I am a financial professional, a special needs coordinator. I was the founder of Protected Tomorrows. I'm a partner of Simplicity Group.
And are you authorized to speak on behalf of Protected Tomorrows?
Yes, I am.
And can you share with the board what Protected Tomorrows is and what they do?
I'd like to give you a little background of how Protected Tomorrows came about and what we do, and I think that's critical to understanding who we serve. So I am a sister, a mother, and a daughter of special needs family members. I grew up with a sister who was 4 years younger than me. At the age of 6, my parents sat me down and said, "Your sister has cerebral palsy, and you will be her caregiver forever." And that was, I thought, the most wonderful thing that would happen to me, because I didn't know what that meant at the time. But as time went on, I grew into a professional in the financial industry. Over 20 years in the mergers and acquisitions business around the country. And then at one point, I married someone with 3 little boys. They had disabilities. He felt it was beyond him. And so he left me with the 3 little boys, and I became a mom of children with special needs. As my parents aged, I also became a caregiver for my parents for the last 20 years of their life. So at the point when I became the mom of these 3 boys, I realized I couldn't be traveling around the country doing my business in the acquisition business. So I started a company like my own to help families who had special needs family members make it in the world. It's compelling. It was listening to family stories and realizing that this was going to make a difference on the planet from my perspective. So my original mission statement was to help everybody on this planet who has a special need, rich or poor. And that's where we started. One family at a time. We work with families who have special needs children, be it developmental disabilities, it could be Down syndrome, it could be autism. We work with people with mental health issues. We work with spouses who may have Lou Gehrig's disease or Huntington's disease. You name it, we will work with those families. We'll help them, A, be happy and secure, and as well as being safe. And that's our main mission. But what happens is it's not just about the person with the disability, it's the entire family. And so we need to make sure, because the parents and the caregivers are critical to these families, right? They have to make sure they're financially secure. They've got to make sure they're taken care of into the future. So what we do today is we help families. It might be a spouse, it might be parents, but it's typically parents who have a child who could be at any point in stage of their life. So many times families are coming to us and telling us their child has an issue and they're looking for a doctor. Sometimes it's somebody who's coming to us and their child's going into school and they don't understand the school system and how do they work with that school system. It could be someone who is, their child's in the school system and they're reaching the age of 22 and they're going to be leaving school. And the parents at that point are like, okay, now what, right? Everybody I meet, no matter where I'm at, knows somebody who has somebody with a special need. It could be mental illness, it could be our spouse, it could be our child, it could be our grandchild. So as we started to work with families, and our main offices when I was with Protected Tomorrows Only, I was in a suburb of the city of Chicago. And we would work with people and help them, just guide them. We provide personal services to them to help them do whatever they need us to do. So it might be stepping in and help them find a secure environment. It might be helping to put a plan in place. But typically what we're doing is creating a future care plan for that person with a special need, and we're helping the family make sure that that person is safe for the rest of their life. It's a journey. It's never, no one family wants the same thing. So people are coming to us and looking for us to help them through that planning process. For a family that's in that situation, if you could think about it, it's difficult. So you have a child who you don't know if they're going to make it without you. And so when people come to us, the first thing they say is, what's going to happen when I'm gone? Sometimes I get emotional about it because I still have 3 boys, 2 of them who need support. My sister passed away at the age of 39 from a seizure in her sleep. And so it's personal. And over time, we found that more and more families are in this situation, and they want to meet with us personally and help them through that process. So we take them one step at a time. We help them with their life planning. We find services. We help them apply for government money. We'll get them SSI. We'll help them get Medicaid. We'll help them get whatever service they need. We'll find county services. We'll put a care plan in place. But once a care plan is in place, we need to work with the whole family. So we help the family do their financial planning. We help them put in place their estate planning. We help them find attorneys. We help them find whatever they need to be okay. Now, in my business, in the financial business at the time, there's no training. So when you're working with a financial advisor, they don't know what a special needs trust is. They don't know what a group home is. And they don't know that that child with special needs cannot have more than $2,000 in their name, or they could lose all the funding that they get from the government. So we're an educational organization. We go out to schools and we teach at the schools. We help families as they come to us one-on-one. We will help parents who are up to their eyeballs in fear, and they're looking for clarity. Now, when I first started doing this, we've been doing this for 35 years. When I first started doing this, I would talk to families one-on-one, and here we are 35 years later, and I still hear the same questions. Every family is afraid. They're unsure of where the next step is going to, what the next step is going to be. And so we hold their hand. We become a personal support to that family. And now, as some of those families I've been working with for 35 years, they're coming to us and they're going, okay, now I'm 85, and is our plan going to work? So we're becoming more and more involved with those families, and we're educating the next generation. So in my case, I have 3 sons, 3 stepsons now. 2 need care. Who's going to do it for them? Their other brother's not. So now we are starting to form and find organizations around the country that we can partner with that will become guardians for those people, that will be able to be caregivers into the future. And that's just a journey that every family goes on. You don't know when your child's born and you hope they're going to be healthy. You don't know if they're going to be in an accident. You don't know if your spouse is going to be diagnosed with Lou Gehrig's disease or whatever. There's just a multitude of diseases. And so helping those families one-on-one is critical. Nobody's the same. So the way we operate is we have many different ways we get in touch with people. I'll speak at national disability groups. We go into the school systems. We partner with the schools. So in the school system, here you have about 4,000 children in the schools. 450 of them have disabilities. Those 450 families are looking for help. We have people in Summit who are our customers today. We have, I looked at our database, we have 1,000 people around this whole big area that have reached out to us. And we won't help just people with wealth, we will help people no matter who they are. So we have found a way to help people with less dollars. We have helped people, I have clients with 50 million and people with 50 cents. I don't care. When I started this, I said we're going to help every family, and we do. We have found we have a parent university where people can just come online and listen to us and get help. We have 100 people in this area who are connected to us through the parent university program that we run. When people contact us, they say to us all the time, I wish you were closer to us. And so I've been lucky enough to be involved with Simplicity that now we can do that. Because my mission is to help any family who needs help. We can work with the school districts and go in and help them understand at the school level, because they have transition programs. Children here with special needs can stay in school till they're 22 years old. What after that? Do you think the parents really understand what they need to do? Because when their child turns 18, they've got to apply for Medicaid, they've got to apply for SSI, they don't know how to do it, they can't find attorneys, they can't find the resources. We do that for them. We will hold their hand, we'll help them get those services, and we will give those parents peace of mind that that child's going to make it and be happy and successful. It might be in a group home, it might be staying at home with siblings, but what we also know is when parents think about it, they don't always want to give siblings that responsibility because it's life-changing. Okay, so schools is one place. The other thing we know is companies have employees, and companies want their employees working and present. So imagine if you were an employee and you get the phone call while you're at work that your child's at school having a seizure. Are you present? Or you're at work and you get the phone call that your mom, who has dementia, is walking down the middle of the highway. Are you present at work? So we go to those companies and we become a resource. So we can go into the companies in your community and help them understand that we can help their employees stay at work, one, and two, that we can help people with disabilities work and have jobs. There's many types. When you think about disabilities, there's many types. There's disabilities you have not heard of, Kleefstra syndrome, Angelman syndrome. The typical ones, Down syndrome and autism you've heard of, there are thousands of rare diseases that children can be successful in life. They just need a dream team to put around them to make sure that as parents age, these children can grow up and have successful lives. So we also partner with not-for-profits. So we are partnered now with Angelman syndrome. We're working with Special Olympics in Illinois, and they intend to work with us around the country. So when a family comes to us and they need those kinds of resources, we'll have access to that. The Epilepsy Foundation, many have reached out to us now, and so that's the importance of simplicity to me. Because I was working in office, and our office is not an office, so the interesting thing about what we do is I ran it out of my home for many years. And one of my significant clients, who has us working with 2 of his children with disabilities, said, never lose this flavor of your business. Coming to your home made all the difference to me, because going into an office didn't feel like I was going to get what I needed. And this was somebody who is a CEO of a major corporation. He wasn't somebody who was looking for a handout. He said, I need help. And his advice to me was, as you grow, make sure that you're in the community and you're in an area where people can walk in to see you without an appointment, and know that the people you have behind at the counters can help families. And it's not an office, it's a home. People come to us in our office, to our positions that we have now in Lincolnshire, Illinois, and when they leave, they've been working with us. Families stay with us. They've been with us for 35 years. And they come and they say, this is the place where we feel the most safe, and you've helped our family be able to know that in the future our child's going to be okay. But the other thing they do when they come and visit us is they go to lunch, and they go to get a haircut, or they go to the beauty shop, because we're helping them find a normal life. And so if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. In your community, though, you have people here looking for help already, and we would be honored to be able to do that and help your community be more inclusive, to help your schools, to help your companies, and to bring the people together.
So I just have a quick question to kind of go along with what you were just talking about. Why then is this location and on the ground floor so important to Protected Tomorrows?
Families are afraid to plan. We were asking some families, we did an inquiry on some families, and so why don't you plan? They said, well, if I do it, I might have to die. I'd be ready to die. So it's truly the comments we get. But going someplace to ask for help is scary. Going to an attorney office, I mean, there's a very small number of special needs attorneys who even know what a special needs trust is. So they're at risk. These families are at risk because CPAs don't know how to do this. The attorneys don't, there aren't a lot of attorneys who do this work. They're afraid to go to an environment where there's going to be offices, especially a lot of the families don't want to go into an office and get help. They want to go into an area where they can walk in. A lot of people are in wheelchairs. They want it to be accessible. And so it's important we want to be in the communities where we can be very, very accessible to families. At a first floor, they walk into a city and they see us, and they will come in and talk to us.
And they can also see you through the window. They're going to
Right.
see an inviting seating area, kind of a
Right, we can make,
couches
all of our
and
offices have been designed to be like a home, and so they come in, they're sitting with us, they can have a conversation. If we need a private area, we'll have a private area.
and it's easily recognizable, easily identifiable if, you know, they're driving and obviously
Right.
they're stressed out and they're trying to find where they need to go. There's handicap accessible parking in
Right.
the area.
Yes, right in front. We also have maintained the name Protected Tomorrows because we do have a brand. People know what it means, and so we're Protected Tomorrows, a simplicity company versus the other way around, because people have recognized Protected Tomorrows now be a service that they really want access to.
And how many employees would you have in this location at any given time?
I would expect we'd have 3 to 5 people as employees. Our groups are to work together, and the people that we have in the offices in a local community like this would be a special needs coordinator. All of our employees at the entire organization have either worked in an organization that supports the disabled, or we have family members ourselves.
And in general, how many clients are usually anticipated on the site at a given time?
At one time, we'll usually have 1 family, maybe 2, depends how many, if we have 2 special needs coordinators. And once in a while, we have family meetings. So not only do we with the mom and dad of a child, we have the child with them, and we also include grandma and grandpa, because everybody needs to understand what needs to get done in these situations.
And your hours of operation?
8:30 to 6, and we also work by appointment because we recognize a lot of people can't come during work hours.
So you have appointments and walk-ins,
Yes,
Monday through Friday, but you accommodate outside of those hours?
yes, and on Saturdays.
Okay, and what about, is there any signage proposed?
I think there's signage proposed, but it hasn't, I mean, it's in the works.
And it will conform to the ordinance, right?
Yes, of course.
Okay. I don't have any other questions.
Questions from our board experts?
Could you just elaborate on the ADA spots that are outside the building? How many are there?
So if I could just jump in, they're actually, they're across the street, right outside the tier garage.
Okay.
And then there's also 2 in the shopper lot on Woodland. And then there's obviously on-street parking right in front.
You've indicated you provided the sort of financial services or guidance
Mhm.
for caregivers and also possibly the individuals themselves
Mhm.
that might need this. Also, you had indicated educational. Is it really just educational as to the financial aspects of managing?
No, the educational part is learning about what an IEP is in school. It's learning about what a special needs trust might be and what you should expect. It'll be educating the rest of the family because they're going to become caregivers. So we educate, we help families write these little things. So one example, we have a young woman who became in charge of her brother who's disabled. Her parents passed away. It's her job. There's money in the trust, there's everything else. Everything's in place. And she came to me and she said, I'm so mad at my mother. She says, I'm so mad at my parents. She says, they did everything, but they didn't tell me where to buy my brother's pants. It was a true story. Her brother has autism. He needs Velcro pants, and he doesn't like scratchy pants. They can't find him anywhere. That's what we do. And that's educating parents as to how to write the story about this person you're going to leave behind, and educating the siblings as to those minutia things, because that's what makes life better.
So where to get resources and things of that nature?
Exactly,
That sort of
yeah.
instruction.
And you have quite a few resources in the area, and there's many surrounding you as well.
It was mentioned before, too, that retail was part of your activity.
Mhm.
Can you describe
Sure.
that?
So the other thing that we do is we provide hope to parents. And many parents help, especially the dads, form businesses around special needs. And there's John's Socks. And John is a disabled person, and he makes socks. And we help provide those kind of materials in our facilities. There is a company not too far from here. It's a division of people within Special Olympics, and they take leftover scraps of material and they make purses, and they are sold and help support those organizations. So we will be able to provide all those things from around the country available to people to purchase as well.
I think you've answered the question regarding the need for the first floor space. It's more for accessibility
Yes.
for your clients?
Mhm.
People
That's
that
part of
can't
it. The
access.
other is just not only accessibility, but being in front of them in face. They're not going to go into a building and look around for a space. They're going to say, oh, because remember, it's so compelling to them to not want to do this. It just is. And so once they get there, you want them in the door, you want them helping, and not being like, I have to get an elevator, I have to go through this space. We find that the most important thing we can do for them is be easily accessible, not just from a physical perspective, but an emotional perspective as well.
And I think I've heard through the cross-examination or test direct examination was that you'll keep the windows open and it'll be a viable storefront from the standpoint of people seeing inside the building?
Yes, we want them to see inside. We want them to know what's happening and see materials that have to do with the kind of things that we can provide. Yeah.
No further questions.
Questions from the board?
Yeah, I just have a question about the hours of operation. I think you said it was 8 to 6?
8:30 to 6 is our
8:30 to 6?
typical hours, but we do work by
But
appointment.
it sounds like you could have appointment hours, all hours of the night after 6 o'clock. How does that work?
That would be somebody needing to make an appointment because, sometimes people have crisis modes they need to talk to us about and they want to come
Yeah, but
in.
I'm trying to get an idea on how often something like that would take place. I mean, most of the retail businesses in town, they close 6, 6 o'clock?
We just want to be available, and so if somebody called and said, I'm working and I really need your services, I don't want to turn them away, so we would make an appointment with them, but it would be by appointment. We don't keep the lights on all night. We would do it by appointment after those hours, after typical working hours.
But you can't, can you give me an example of how it goes, how you do it now?
Like how often, he's saying,
Oh.
does something like that happen?
Once a month?
Once a month?
It's not that often. Once in a while, it'll happen in a phase of I think during COVID, it happened a little higher where people wanted to come to see us because there was crisis having to do with that. But typically, it might be once a month. Yeah.
I think just a couple. A little troubled about the locations of the ADA spaces. How do you envision someone who needs some access to get across the street from in front of the parking garage?
Now, I haven't been able to walk the property, but there probably are curb cuts I would expect in that area.
So they'd have to walk down to the crosswalk and come across?
Yeah.
It's not
But if
the-
they're in a wheelchair, they typically can get around. We do have people many of our people aren't physically disabled. They're developmentally disabled. And I would say 80% of the people we see are not in wheelchairs. Okay.
And then for your financial services, would you be referring them to your parent company, who would then refer them to people who associate with the business, or do you do all that yourself?
We do total packaging ourselves.
So you don't
No.
refer it to
We have
anyone?
teams, we work in teams. We have social workers working with a financial person side by side.
And do you, when you say educational services, do you see yourself doing educational seminars at this location?
We would do small groups here. If we're going to do a large group, we probably would do it, we're doing those in the school. The school's inviting us to come in and do them. We would do small groups of a family. If we found 4 families who wanted to talk to us together, sometimes they would come in and do that.
And would that be during those normal business hours, or would that be on a Saturday, Sunday, outside of normal business hours? What's the
When
typical-
a group comes in, it depends. If it's a group of a family, 2 or 3 families, that will usually be during normal work hours. But if the school wanted to come in and bring in 10 of the families or something, where there'd be 10 parents, that's usually on a Saturday afternoon.
That would be on this location or in their school?
No,
In the school.
that would be on this location, where we'd have maybe 10 people in a room.
Okay.
The bigger groups, where the schools will invite us to go into their transition programs, those are usually in the evenings where we're going into the school, and they run those typically. The schools run transition.
Are you already working with the Summit School System or no?
Not yet. I do have several clients already in this town that we're working with, but not in the schools yet.
And maybe you don't know the answer to this question, maybe one of the other witnesses can answer. There used to be a small parking area in the back of the building. Does that still exist? I didn't walk back there.
Yes, it exists, but there's no handicap accessibility from the
Yeah,
back
'cause I was
of the
looking for a
building.
back door to this.
The
There used to
back
be a
door goes
back door.
downstairs, yep.
Okay. So so they would all use the,
Right in the front,
Front.
and again, there's on-street parking right in front of this building.
we know how the parking is in Summit, so I'm a little
Yeah.
concerned about.
Well, there's the
The
shopper's
reliance.
lot, and then there's the tier garage,
Yeah.
all in close proximity.
I'm not saying the additional parking, I'm just worried about,
Right,
if
yep.
somebody needs a spot, and if they
Right.
need an ADA spot, and
And if we knew
Far
that there
away.
were people coming, we even will go out and help them. So if we know somebody's coming in who needs accessibility, but I will say that still a very huge number of our people in wheelchairs, aren't necessarily, they're physically disabled, but they can work and they can
course,
live,
yeah.
and that's our much smaller percentage of the people that we see.
And maybe you can't answer this question, but
Right.
when you get a delivery of supplies, I don't know what you need, papers, staples, whatever, where do you anticipate maybe this is for somebody else along the line?
I think it would be typical to any other office, any other retail, personal service, anybody else getting a delivery in
industry.
CRBD, yep.
Okay.
I have a couple questions. How far radius do you expect to draw from? You referenced other offices. I don't know how many offices you have around the country, but there was some reference to sort of a large draw.
I would say we know that there's a large population here. Everybody's not going to come at the same time, but we have people in our Chicago office will drive an hour or 2 hours to come and see us, right? Because we are the only company in this country that does what we do at this level. There's the ARC here of Union County. We work very closely with ARCs. They actually bring us in to speak for them to their participants and the families they work with. But we're the only ones who do this full service. So people will come from outside this area to come and see us.
And then my other question is regarding the expertise. I mean, it's a very broad offering that you have, right, to a diverse group of people, and only 3 to 5 employees. Can you tell us a little bit about the roles of the employees? I mean, clearly one of them is financial. You mentioned a social worker. Just wondering how this team is assembled to provide those services
Right.
on site, or are some of these people off site, or?
So in our operation in Chicago, we have now 15 people, and we're continuing to add to those now that we have the capabilities. We'll be hoping to open offices like this around the country. But on our staff, we have researchers, we have a psychologist, we have social workers, and we have financial people. We're continually adding. 2 more people started this week, and we have an entire training program. We're going to be looking for people in each area that we build offices and have availability to families. So we will be training them, and we'll be building offices, and we call them homes, wherever we can find the right city. And we don't want to be in big cities. We want to be in local cities where people can actually come and find us and be in the middle of a downtown. It's very important for us.
Thank you.
Just where exactly would the retail portion of the business be, as I look at the plan, versus, is it right in the front? Is it?
Is that from a definition?
It's the whole space.
So
Yeah.
I think that, again, the floor plans that you got are more kind of illustrative, not set in stone as to how it's going to look. But the planner can talk a little bit about how the retail will be set up.
Got it.
You LLC, a for-profit, non-for-profit organization?
We are for-profit.
For-profit.
Do you, is there, maybe I'm jumping ahead too far here, is there a strategic plan for if you outgrow, or you have to hire more people for this site?
We have a plan for we know how many families we can serve with X number of people. So as we expand, we will find other places around the communities to continue to grow. Yeah.
Okay.
We know that the need is significant. We know how many families in Union County. There are 750 families that are impacted by disabilities in Union County. So but our job is, we don't have to do everything ourselves. We need to find the ARCs, and we need to find those organizations like Our House and all the other organizations that are around here. We partner very closely with them because we're not providing group homes, and we're finding the resources and putting them in place.
Are you working with Our House?
And we're just starting to get to know people in this area.
Okay.
Any other questions from the board? No, okay. I think we can move on to the next witness.
Sure. Paul Greigel.
Good evening. If you could raise your right hand, do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
And please state your name, spell your last name.
Yes, hi, Paul Greigel, last name spelled Grygiel.
Thank you, and I know you've also appeared before us a number of times, including relatively recently. Any changes to your credentials since the last time you were here?
No, I've been a licensed professional planner since 1999. My license has been in good standing that entire time. And as you mentioned, I've been before this board and numerous other boards on regular occasions as an expert planning witness.
Any questions, or would you like to accept him back once again?
I think we'll accept.
All right.
Great.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Ball. Okay, floor is mine.
Yep.
So just brief, so we've heard a lot of testimony already, so I have a long outline. I don't intend to go through the entirety of it, but I do want to hit some key points because, as we've heard, this is a rather unique use. I've been a planner in New Jersey for over 25 years now, and I've never really encountered this mix of uses in one space. So that's the crux of the case that we're making from the use variance point of view about the suitability of the site being in the CRBD district in downtown and how this particular use can fit in to this location, but also enhance the surrounding mix of uses and not undermine or have a negative impact on the master plan, zoning ordinance, and downtown plan. Just briefly for the record with regard to the site and surrounding, as we heard, that's an office building that is fully occupied. We have the one space left, in which a synergistic, related use is proposed, but one that also makes sense in terms of the aspects we've talked about with regard to parking on street and in nearby public lots, but also the train station is a very short walk away as well. It's close to some neighborhoods from within the city of Summit, so for the closer in population, it's very convenient in that regard, as well as providing before or after visits the ability to visit other locations within the downtown. So you again, as you're well aware, have a diverse mix of uses that also, I think, would have some benefit from having a use that brings additional families and others into the district. Just with regard to the permitted uses in the CRBD zone, again, I don't want to read down the entire list, but from retail sales, which was what the zoning official mentioned as this not falling into, we understand that, but there actually is, now we've heard, there's a small aspect within the facility. So one way to look at it is similar to other uses right nearby. So you have, for example, nearby salons, right next door, in fact, where you have, a small component of a waiting room and then products and others, items being sold at retail that sort of are accessory to that overall use. So that's one example. Real estate offices, you have some higher traffic uses and you have lower traffic uses. Again, the intention here is to maintain a storefront that appears as it is now and is inviting and provides a space for active uses within this context. Again, other uses include retail services. So there's a very broad definition there. And I won't get into too much detail, but if Ms. Ules wants me to, we can discuss the finer points of the ordinance. But it says including but not limited to certain types of other types of uses. And there's some exclusions in retail services. We don't think we fall into that. We think we actually fall into that category of providing a service to the overall population. Personal services as well, as you've heard, and financial services. I would note financial institutions are allowed to be on the first floor facing a street if they have direct customer services as part of the operation. So it has to be a bank that's having people being able to come in and interact. Again, we fit within that category as well. So in summary, with regard to the overall permitted uses, there's a wide range in the downtown. There's a wide range that exists. And I do think from a planning point of view, we can demonstrate that the use variance can be granted, that the site meets the positive and negative criteria. With regard to that aspect, the positive criteria, the site is particularly suitable because of the need for a first floor location that's visible and accessible, that is also convenient to transportation and other nearby uses. I do think that, again, we've heard some testimony with regard to trying to be a welcoming environment. That actually, again, is very consistent with other permitted uses and existing uses in the CRBD. So I think that for those reasons and others, we would advance certain purposes of zoning, including the public health, safety, and general welfare, purpose A of the land use law. We're providing services for a population that currently is somewhat underserved and in a unique setting and an environment that makes sense in this section of Summit. In addition, purpose G, providing sufficient space in appropriate locations for a variety of different types of uses. Again, downtowns evolve. In my time as a planner, I've seen, and I'm sure you've seen as well, a broad shift in what's a typical type of use downtown, in that old-fashioned retail, the larger seal fonds and stores, the department stores have gone away, but you have more specialized experiential uses, your West Elms, you have Innovation Foundry, you have things like that that didn't really exist back 10, 15, 20 years ago. And I think that this category of use certainly fits into one that I've never thought about to put in a master plan or zoning ordinance. I would imagine your city's planners haven't as well, just because it's very unique and specialized, but it fits within the broad category of types of uses that fit in a downtown setting. With regard to the negative criteria, I don't think there may be substantial detriment to the public good for a number of reasons. I won't rehash everything I've said before, but essentially we have a use that is not at all out of character with surrounding uses. It's busier than some other ones. So for example, a coin store, a rug store, larger scale type of uses like that don't get many customers, but they fit in the downtown setting. Other ones are busier, burrito shops and other types of things where people are coming and going regularly. Downtowns, and the zoning ordinance even talks about this, should have a mix of uses that bring in different types of people, different times of day and night throughout the year as well. So I think that in that regard, we are clearly within the overall realm of the types of uses that make sense in downtown Summit. In addition, it's just a very unique use that is going to provide services that I think are not provided currently, and hopefully this will be the example for other communities to follow in terms of having this type of use in its downtown location. In terms of the master plan and zoning ordinance, again, there's a lot of language here. I could read verbatim, but really just, I will point to a couple of goals and objectives. Mr. Snike has pointed out some in his review letter with regard to the master plan. But goal 4 of the city's master plan talks about promoting a city that is welcoming to residents of all ages, races, ethnicities, abilities, and income ranges. That is specifically addressed here by trying to provide to a more inclusive community in that regard. And again, the overall CRBD intention to have the mix of uses is clearly in line with what we're proposing. So with regard to the master plan and zoning ordinance, again, I do think that we certainly fit within the overall scheme of the downtown area and would not have any substantial negative impacts by utilizing one storefront in the appropriate location for this use. And with that, I believe I've concluded my direct testimony.
Okay. Any questions from our board experts, rather?
I do not have any questions.
Just one question with regard to the negative criteria
Yes.
of the variance that's being requested. What is the purpose, if you could describe the purpose for the limitation of office or that sort of financial institution that may not have a customer-related counter type of thing along the frontage? What was the overall intent of that from the master plan?
Sure. My understanding, in my experience, and for Summit as well, certainly specifically, is to have activity and not have storefronts that are, essentially blank windows, no activity. When people walk, if you were to have multiple types of uses like that in the downtown, it would deaden the streetscape. So the idea is to promote, just again, that when you look inside, it's more active, there are people there working, it's a welcoming environment.
And you see that in this proposed use how?
So in this case, yes, in this case, we have something, again, similar to Silver Vine. That's a real good example just right next door, but many types of even, you do find more actually doctors or medical offices or dentist offices, even in downtowns now, where you have a waiting component up towards the front. Again, I think of this as more of being, an active desk at whether it's a realtor's office, which is permitted, or a bank where you have a lobby space. So for example, there's a little coffee service, there's some seating right there in the front portion of the facility. So I think it would look very similar to many of the existing uses in the downtown in that regard, having a waiting area, having customer service, having amenities for people coming in the door.
Okay. Also, as permitted uses, we have instructional schools and studios.
That's correct.
How is that somewhat similar to what's being offered here, in the sense that people are coming here for certain instruction and guidance?
Certainly, yes. I may have glossed over that in my direct testimony, but that was another one of those uses that certainly there are some components of it. We heard about the instructional aspects for the families and individuals, so that, again, doesn't fit directly into a box of only being a school. That's, I guess, the issue here, is you have a piece of this, a piece of that, and of, the dozen plus uses permitted in the downtown. We do have aspects of about 3 or 4 at least of them.
Okay. Thank you. No further
Great,
questions.
you're welcome.
Questions from the board?
Well, I'm still having a hard time understanding what the retail end of this is. Well, I mean, retail businesses, you sell a product. What are you selling?
Well, my understanding from the testimony is that there would be some small type of products that could be utilized for individuals, what's it, sock business, the materials literally for that. So again, I picture when I go get my hair cut or go to certain businesses where you have a small, or gyms have this sometimes, where you're selling certain related T-shirts or water bottles, whatever. I don't know the specifics other than what I've heard from the testimony, but it would be just a small retail aspect of it. We're not trying to say we're a full retail store, certainly, but there'd be a retail
But, I mean,
component that's very small.
That's what you're basing this whole plan on, is you're stating that you're looking for a retail.
Oh.
Look, if I could just clarify, so we're not saying that we are retail sales. We are saying that we are personal service, we are financial, we are retail services, which includes social workers or social services. We are instructional. We are quite a few of the uses that are permitted on the first floor in the CRBD. there is a component of retail sales that Ms. Eller alluded to, which would be, if there's certain special needs families that have come up with some kind of a sock that say certain individuals prefer to wear, so they sell those socks in the store. Or what were the other things that you had mentioned?
There are jewelry items that are made by people with disabilities.
So things like that they could
I
have.
didn't hear what she said.
She said jewelry items that are made by individuals with special needs. So there are things that they can have in the store that they can offer for sale, which could also be located by the window so people could see these different types of retail products. But their main aspect is not retail sales.
Just to clarify that, because I think I misunderstood Ms. Ellert's testimony with regards to that. I think what I understood, so if you could clarify, was that you might help someone who was trying to start their own sock business, a disabled person who wants to sell socks. Maybe they're selling them online on the internet, that retail wasn't happening in the store. I wasn't expecting socks and earrings and a variety of things in the storefront window, or is that the expectation? I just want to clarify, because what you said sounded a little different than what I thought I heard.
Add a microphone, please.
Yes.
So one of the things that we find that occurs in the world of disabilities is people create small businesses and they sell items. We represent, sometimes we'll show those items in the store and they could buy them. So there are lots of, and we would find local organizations that do that. So some of the not-for-profits have it. The ARC probably has things that they represent for things made by people with disabilities. So we would want to encourage those kind of organizations to include us in allowing to present their materials for sale. To really help, mostly it's made by parents who have created a not-for-profit to benefit their child. It might be all kinds of, if you ever went to like a farmer's market, you would see people with disabilities and their parent who are representing things that they sell. You can go online and find all kinds of those kind of items. So sometimes those people come to us and it's a positive for the parents to see that that's a possibility. And so we would represent those items in our store for sale. But it's not something we actively pursue unless somebody's approaching us and say, this particular company. So we had a podcast once just about all the companies in this country that sell things made by people with disabilities. It's hope. It's about allowing people to see that a person with a disability can create something and put it up for sale.
So it is possible that you wouldn't just be serving the families that are your, say, clients, but that Summit family that says, Protected Tomorrows is here, and I heard that they're selling things, made by people with disabilities. Let's go in and see what they're selling and support.
Correct.
It is
Yes.
possible that you would have
Yes.
members of just
Yes.
general public coming in for that? Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Just a question on that, a follow-up. If, sorry. So lots of young people, kids, shopping around town, a lot of times just coming in, stopping by, maybe they're shopping, maybe they're just hanging out.
Mhm.
How would that factor into?
I would think that would be a positive.
Yeah.
If young people came into a store and they were curious about what disabilities were all about, we would love to have conversation with them, to teach them.
And again, they can have those products, if there is a product, by the window so people could see them when they're walking
Sure.
by, which again furthers the intent of what the CRBD is all about.
Good.
Yeah.
From your experience with other locations, do you usually target downtowns, like busy downtown, historic areas, like here in Summit?
This is our first location outside of our main location at this point, but we do know that families all around the country are connected with us, and they are telling us on a regular basis they would like, and we are near a downtown area where our office is, where people can come right up and drive up and come in and talk to us. So we would like to honor those requests from families all over the country to say we would like you to have a facility where we could actually meet people face to face.
Thank you.
Okay.
So do you anticipate a family from California traveling to New Jersey to visit your store or your office?
If they
Did you
were
say all around the
vacationing,
country?
they would. They might come from California, but I doubt it. We're hoping that families who will come here will be from this area in most cases.
Yeah, because I'm a little, when you say all around, I get all around the country, but you're building in Summit. Like, how did you pick this location? Is it because of your partners?
Yeah,
or-
yes.
So,
I think just-
any other questions for the Ms. Eller or the planner here?
Where do the employees in the office building park now?
That's a Mr. Yeager question.
Yeah, I mean, I think.
I know the answer, but I'm just trying to figure out.
There are 6 spots under the building, and then everyone else is in the parking deck.
Employee parking.
Parking, yeah.
And then you're anticipating the same for the employees of this agency
Yes.
as well? Yeah.
Any other questions for the planner? Okay. Seeing none, and we don't have any questions from the public. Is that the
That was my last witness.
last witness? Anything to wrap up here?
Sure. So, just quick, Protected Tomorrows, as we've stated, is comprised of many different aspects of permitted uses for a first floor in the CRBD. As stated in the testimony given tonight, Protected Tomorrows is particularly suited for this specific first floor location. It promotes the general welfare by providing a variety of services to individuals with special needs and their families, which will help them obtain positive outcomes in all aspects of their lives, and will benefit not only the special needs community and their families and caregivers, but the city of Summit, surrounding communities, and the state of New Jersey, since this will be the first of its kind used in the state. There's no detriment to the public good, and the use at this location furthers many of the goals and objectives of the ordinance and master plan, as Mr. Greigel testified to. And as such, I would ask the board to vote in favor of the application.
Thank you.
Can I just ask, I should have asked this before.
Go ahead.
What's how many clients does Protected Tomorrow serve now? Do you know? Like nationwide?
At a microphone.
I'm sorry, I should have asked that before. I apologize.
We've had, over the past couple of years, a total of about 850 clients in the last couple of years that we have served.
Okay, thank you.
Okay?
Okay, so,
All right, so I'll note, it's a D1 use variance, 5 votes are required to approve. Obviously, we only have 6 members here tonight. I will note that I have not noted any specific conditions. There is no engineering memo, which we usually condition the applications on, so yeah, unless any other members have a particular condition they wanted to
Can I
see.
ask you a question? If Protected Tomorrow's outgrows the space and decides they want to move somewhere else, would the future occupant have to obviously meet the current requirements for the master plan, I mean, the zoning for the type of use and all that? So they may not just continue this use on to the next tenant, or would they have to come back before?
So they could continue a use, it sounds like there isn't any other uses that fit this specifically, but if there was another exact copy of that business out there, that they could come in and rely on that variance that was granted. Otherwise, if it's a separate use, they would need to either comply with the existing permitted uses in the code or submit for their own variance. So at this point, I guess I'll look to the board members and see, does anyone want to provide any input on what they're thinking before we formally go into executive session? To just give any hints to the applicant on?
well, I think, I would say let's start executive session, is my thought, and then we could pause, and resume next time if we didn't want to vote, but I think I'd rather say what people are thinking in executive session than.
Sure,
yeah.
just as long as we're clear that we're not going to
Not-
force a vote.
Right.
We'll go through our thoughts in executive session and then leave it up to the applicant on
Perfect.
Yep.
whether we'll
Thank you.
proceed.
Okay,
Okay?
all right. Anyone want to start?
I think it's within the general idea of CRB, and I think that it does some help as long this is specific for this tenant only. So if that will be a condition, I think that will be a good idea. If they change or they have a different tenant, they have to come back to the board. I don't see any negative impact on the town. So that's my opinion. I think I could support it.
I can support this, but I really don't see, I haven't heard a convincing argument why it needs to be on the first floor. Sorry, I just don't see it. But I think it has a beneficial use for the town, a beneficial use of the space, so I could support it on that basis.
Anyone else? Or I can jump in. I think, you know, I could support this. I think that in terms of the positives, you know, I think it does do, you know, a couple of things. It reinforces the city as like a mixed use, mixed core with a variety of businesses in town. I think it, in the master plan, there's some reference to recognize the city's role as a regional center. And I think that with this sort of, we'll call it innovative type of business, it does that because it offers something a little different that would maybe be a draw, right, for bring people to downtown Summit. And I think one of our, you know, master plan is to encourage private investment for uses that are consistent with our community needs and desires. And I think that, you know, there's this need exists in our community, exists in other communities to, you know, offer this type of help. So I could support it. I think the retail part of it is sort of the least compelling aspect of this application, if I'm being honest. But I think that the other aspects of it are much more compelling. So I could support this. And if I have any other notes, I think that's it. Anyone else?
I can support this application as well. It's reading through this, some of the, you know, forward-facing offices, I mean, that's, if you think about a lot of the buildings downtown, I mean, it's, you're kind of defeating the whole purpose of that ordinance. But I can support this application. I think it's a well thought out, and I think it will definitely provide a benefit to the town, and if not the county and the region. So.
Yeah. Could we make it a condition that if a different tenant came in, even if they said they were a carbon copy of Protected Tomorrows, let's say there's someone else who says we could do this, and you decide you need a bigger space, that they actually have to come and present to the board so that they could demonstrate that they're...
I would like that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we've done something similar in the past. Technically, you know, variances run with the land, and it's tough to legally say you can restrict someone from relying on a variance that was granted. Even if the applicants were to agree to that, I question if it was challenged at a later date, it might be stricken as being invalid. You know, we can ask the applicants if we want to see if they'd be willing to do it. I think the uniqueness of this particular use kind of prevents any future business from trying to claim, yes, we are an exact carbon copy and therefore we can rely on it. But you know, that's just based on the testimony we've heard tonight.
Mr. Snakis, do you have any advice on that, just as a planner?
Yes, what I've heard tonight, at least from my perspective, is that I've heard a variety of uses that are being offered, whether they're financial services, educational, instructional, guidance for individuals, or psychological services that are provided for these people with special needs. I think the board can rely on that. It'll be interesting to write it and word it such in the resolution so that we can, because it's so unique in this instance. But I think if we touch on the actual activities that they perform at that location, I think those are enough to establish at least a record as to what the board is considering for approval of the application, if you're seeking to approve the application. and touch on those issues. Something else you could also consider, and I was going to offer this, but it's up to you, is that I know the applicant was willing to provide at least an open window or open storefront kind of experience to that. And that was part and parcel with what I believe in looking at the intent and purpose of that restriction in the zone, is to make sure it's an active use. And it's not just walled off or screened windows or what have you that doesn't keep an active storefront, that people walking by feel like it's active and energized in the downtown. I think that was the intent of the master plan, is to try to keep things energized. Although, excuse me, I'll caution myself to stop testimony here, but the other thing I would look at is the diversity of uses, as you've talked about. I think that's another significant feature for the board to consider.
Thank you.
So
Yes.
we've established that this will have a storefront appearance to it, the front of the building.
That's what I think I heard from the applicant, and I'll look for them just to validate that.
Can we just make one comment? Is it okay? Yeah, so I think to address Mr. Snykes' comment, so that during if this was approved, obviously, through the building permit issuance process, right, the zoning ordinance requires a certain amount of storefront to remain open and translucent. Yeah, so transparent. So I think that if for some reason it wasn't, as has been represented here tonight, when a plan was submitted, it would get called out by the zoning and the building department before an issuance of a permit to build. So I think that all of that would certainly be taken clearly into consideration, not only with the design and the layout of the space, but the way that the actual storefront
Well,
would be
so maybe
presented.
that is a condition, is to make sure, because I'm not sure that that's actually what would happen, that I think that maybe needs to be a condition, that it is, the approval is contingent upon it being a storefront appearance. Is that, just because the design is,
Yes.
as you said, this is a tentative design and anything can be
Sure.
modified? Thank you.
I think that's
So the condition would be that the applicant shall ensure that the first floor maintains a storefront appearance. Is that acceptable wording to that condition?
I mean, does that include like the place next door where you look in and you see a waiting area and then you can see some products and things like that? Is that sufficient? I mean, that's identical to what is next door.
I think of a storefront as clear glass and not with offices or conference rooms up against it, as you would see on an upper floor office space, so that you can see, what's in the window itself, I think is probably variable depending on the nature of the use, but that it's clear and that you can see in
Or
to the
some welcome
space.
desk with a person sitting behind it, basically.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes.
So I guess.
Similar to what we see in a real estate place.
Yep.
Right. Yep. I guess I'll just ask if anyone, because before we vote, if there's anyone who is not in favor, that you would, share that, because I think it's important that we know everybody's opinion on it. Right?
I mean, I can just share, based on what we've just discussed there, I'm supportive. I think it makes sense.
Okay.
One more question. Suppose down the road, Mr. Yeager decides that he's going to rent this to an insurance company or someplace that's not permitted right now by code. I assume that we can restrict that usage so that person would not be able to rent that store space.
Right, so an insurance company or anything else that would fall clearly into the uses as described in the code that prohibit first floor locations, they would have to then separately come in
Okay.
for a variance and go through this whole process.
When you said
Yeah.
the variance goes with the property,
Yeah, that's what I'm
and
But
only
the-
for this limited
Right,
application.
the variance is particular to this
Usage.
these uses as have
Okay.
been described in the testimony.
Okay.
Something else that's separate, that's currently prohibited, would separately have to come in.
Okay.
So,
All right, so Ms. Ulls, I think you've been counting the number of votes. Would you like to proceed this evening?
Yes, please. Thank you.
can we take the roll or vote here?
Can I
Yeah.
make a motion?
Need a
Motion, that's
I'll make
right, we need a motion.
To carry this.
Second.
Not carry
Don't
it,
carry
to
it.
vote- to have a vote.
Just
I'll
to be
second
clear,
it.
that's a motion to approve?
To approve, yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry.
I'll second it.
Vice Chair's on.
Yes.
Mr. Yuko is recused. Mr. Malay?
Yes.
Mr. Nelson,
Yes.
Mr. Curran,
Yes.
Mr. Chanchuli,
Yes.
and Mr. Nearing.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Congrats.
Yes.
All right, we do have some resolutions tonight. First up is 18 Sherman Avenue, zoning board application number ZB-25-2285. The eligible members to vote are Mr. Yuko, Mr. Malay, Mr. Nelson, Mr. Chanchuli, and Mr. Nearing. Could we get a motion?
So moved?
Second.
Thank you. Mr. Yuko,
Yes.
Mr. Malay,
Yes.
Mr. Nelson,
Yes.
Mr. Chanchuli,
Yes.
Mr. Nearing.
Yes.
Thank you. Next up is 9 Sherman Avenue, zoning board application number ZB-25-2290. The eligible members to vote are Mr. Yuko, Mr. Malay, Mr. Nelson, Mr. Chanchuli, and Mr. Nearing. Could we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Mr. Yuko,
Yes.
Mr. Malay,
Yes.
Mr. Nelson,
Yes.
Mr. Chanchuli,
Yes.
Mr. Nearing.
Yes.
Thank you. Next up is 9 Valley View Avenue, zoning board application number ZB-25-2289. The eligible members to vote are Mr. Yuko, Mr. Nelson, Mr. Chanchuli, and Mr. Nearing. Could we have a motion?
So moved?
Second.
Thank you. Mr. Yuko,
Yes.
Mr. Nelson,
Yes.
Mr. Chanchuli,
Yes.
Mr. Nearing.
Yes.
Next up is 136 Pine Grove Avenue, zoning board application number ZB-24-2276. The eligible members to vote are Mr. Yuko, Mr. Malay, Mr. Nelson, Mr. Chanchuli, and Mr. Nearing. Could we get a motion, please?
So
So-
moved.
Second?
Mr. Yuko,
Yes.
Mr. Malay,
Yes.
Mr. Nelson,
Yes.
Mr. Chanchuli,
Yes.
and Mr. Nearing.
Yes.
Thank you. And then we have a resolution of extension for 185 Oak Ridge Avenue, ZB-23-2188. Could we have a motion?
So moved?
They already had 2 years, right?
No, they had a 1 year in the original resolution, 1 year it was extended, and so they're asking for 1 more year now. They were at the time where the board only granted 1 year to get a
Okay.
permit as opposed to our current practice of getting 2 years. They also advised that they have actually submitted that application for the permit, and they're just waiting
Okay.
on the city to process it at this point. So I think they probably don't even need the total year, but they're doing that to be safe and to be compliant.
Could we get a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Vice Chair Zhang,
Yes.
Mr. Yuko,
Yes.
Mr. Malay,
Yes.
Mr. Nelson,
Yes.
Mr. Curran,
Yes.
Mr. Chanchuli,
Yes.
and Mr. Nearing.
Yes.
Thank you. And last up, we have the minutes for memorialization. We have July 7, 2025. The eligible members to vote are Mr. Malay, Mr. Nelson, Mr. Yuko, Mr. Feskins, Mr. Chanchuli, and Mr. Nearing. Could we have a motion?
Make a motion.
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
That's all. Do we have a motion to adjourn? Can we entertain that?
So moved. Second.
I just have one question. On these dates, are these all Mondays? I didn't look at them.
The 4th is a Thursday. September 4th is a Thursday.
September 4th is a third.
Okay. See you on September 4th.
Yeah.
Enjoy the rest of the summer.
And Curran, there's a sheet here just to, if you want to check your availability for the upcoming meeting.